Jai Masters. There are so many different ways you can approach your spiritual growth. One of them that is very, very powerful and very simple is based on opening and closing. In fact, if you paid attention to this and you worked with it, you don't need anything else. What do you mean opening and closing? Opening what? Closing what? If somebody starts to say to you something you don't want to hear, you should be able to notice that you close. You put up defensiveness. You push away. You push it away. And sometimes you retort very quickly with something to shut them down because you're not comfortable with what is being said. You don't want to deal with it. And so you close. You can look at it, use any word you want, but you close. You close to it. What you are actually closing, believe it or not, is a chakra. You don't know that at the time. It may take you some years of growth to realize it, but you're closing third, fourth chakras, depending on what level you're working at. And when you do that close, which takes a billionth of a second to close, you don't even pay it. You're so used to it, you don't even pay attention to it. What he was saying was stupid. I don't have to listen to that. There, you just closed. Doesn't matter how you rationalize it. You closed. It takes a second to close, and I'm telling you, it could take hours, months, years to reopen. Closing is not a game. And in fact, the entire spiritual path is about not closing. Call it meditation, not closing. Call it mantra, not closing. Call it chanting, not closing. Call it forgiving, not closing. Call it offering up to God, not closing. That's what every single one of those things are. It boils down to, are you or are you not going to keep your chakras open? And I don't care whether you know what a chakra is. You know what it is because you close it. That feeling that you feel when you're protecting yourself. Hey, listen to this. Do you ever feel like you're protecting yourself? All right? Then you're closing. I'm talking about psychologically. I don't care about physically. We don't tend to have to do that too often. All right? But psychologically, we're doing it all the time. If you feel the need to defend yourself, to justify, to protect, you are closing. That's what closing means. There is a life in which you never close. And it is not as dangerous as it seems. In fact, it's way less dangerous than closing. When you close, it's sort of like, let's say you're afraid of the outside. Sometimes. You like the outside, but you're afraid of the outside. So when you get in your house, you close the blinds. Why? It just makes you more comfortable. Do you understand what you just did? You closed your entire life into the inside of your house. Light comes in, people don't come in. So it may feel more comfortable to you because you're scared, you're insecure, you have problems, but you just ruined your life. Closing always ruins your life. There is no basis for closing. A spiritual person catches on that it's about staying open. I can deal with things and stay open. I can have somebody saying things that maybe are inappropriate or, they're not right that they should be saying them. I don't have to close. I can deal with it staying open. You can deal with anything staying open. You're better off dealing with it staying open, but you don't know how to do it. And that's why we close. We close as an act of protecting ourselves. Now let's talk about the two chakras I spoke about, the third and the fourth. What does it mean to close the fourth chakra? That the fourth chakra, the heart center, is very, very sensitive. It takes almost nothing for your love to stop. Now again, don't blush, right? I mean, you say you love somebody until they wear something you don't like, till they sneeze at the wrong time, till they don't say exactly what you want them to say around your parents, till they don't agree with you when you said something. It doesn't take much, does it? And all of a sudden, you don't feel so much love. I'm talking about real love. There's that gushing, beautiful, what I'm talking about. That beautiful, gushing stuff, right? You don't feel it because you close. And I don't know, you justify closing, but what you're basically saying is, I don't want to feel the love. Because love can only flow when your heart is open. That's what it means. In fact, I'm going to tell you something. When your heart opens, you feel love. Just like if I take a vase of water, a pitcher of water, and I turn it, water comes out. If your heart is open, love flows through it. If your heart is closed, love cannot flow through it. It's that simple. If you want love, keep your heart open. But you know how to do that. Your heart is not under your control. Your heart opens and closes in accordance to your fears, your needs, your desires, your insecurities. That's anything. If somebody looked at you the wrong way, it could open or close. It's just ridiculous. If they look at you, a reminder of your brother, and you really loved your brother and haven't seen him for a while, you start feeling love for that person. You don't even know the person. It doesn't matter. Outside stimuli can open your heart, can't they? And outside stimuli can close your heart. Well, that's unfortunate, because then you will spend your entire life running around looking for the outside stimuli that open your heart and thinking that because you found it, it means you love that person. It does not mean that. It doesn't mean that. It means that there's something wrong with you and you can't keep your heart open. And whatever it is wrong with you has conditions. And under certain conditions, the heart will open. And under other conditions, it will close. You don't know anything about it. You just know I like it when it's open, I don't like it when it's closed. And so now you run around the world trying to find a person, place, thing, dog, I don't care, anything, new car, whatever it is, that opens your heart. And you think you need that. Well, I'm here to tell you, you do not need that. And to spend your time running around trying to find something that opens your heart instead of learning to not close it. You don't learn to open your heart. That's not something you should learn. You should learn to not close it. It's very difficult if I say to you, open your heart. You don't know what to do. If I tell you, don't close it, yeah, you know what to do. Why? Because you're the one who's closing it. You understand that? You're the one who justified closing your heart because of what the person said or didn't say or whatever the heck it is. Or not only what they said or didn't say, the way they said it. That'll do it too, won't it? That'll do it. That'll close you down. So the spiritual path is not about, I went very quickly, I hope you followed me, it is not about running around trying to somehow find a condition, a person, place, or thing outside that when it comes in, you find that your heart opens. And then go run after that and try to own it and possess it. Say it's mine. Don't talk to anybody else. Why? Don't talk to anybody else because I don't want their heart opening because you might get interested in them. Only talk to me and come home when I expect you to do every single thing. It's called possessiveness. Why would you want to possess love? Why would you want to do that? Because I don't know how to open my heart. And when you do things right, you open my heart. So hell if I'm letting anybody else dance with you. There, now we get possessiveness and jealousy. Got them? Got to know anything about those things? All right? They all come from this. They come from not understanding that love does not require anything. It is whole and sufficient within itself. What it requires, only requires one thing, that your heart be open. It's like there's this beautiful energy inside, always. It's always there trying to flow. But like the light is always outside. The sun is always outside. But if you close the blinds, it can't get in. It's not like you have to worry about the sun being there. You have to worry about closing the blinds. It's the same thing with love. It is always there, period. Believe me, there's this beautiful flow of energy flowing into you all the time. But you only feel it when your heart opens, because then it comes down and it flows through your heart. When your heart is closed, it's like the blinds being closed. The sun is there, but you can't see it. And so it's silly to sit there and close your heart so you can't feel your natural love that's inside of you all the time, and then look for somebody or something or certain conditions that somehow you call it chemistry. We have good chemistry together. Yeah, chemistry. It's like you have closed your heart. It's naturally closed now. It takes something special for it to open. Why is it closed? Well, I'll tell you what. If I stored every single thing that ever bothered me in my entire life inside of my heart, it'd probably be closed too. You'd be scared to death. You'd be scared to open it. You'd be scared that somebody don't like you. You'd be scared somebody's going to hurt you. Why? Because you stored every single thing that ever bothered you inside of you, didn't you? If you store all of this problems and bothers and scary stuff inside of you, your heart is going to be scared. It's going to be uptight. And so now all it takes is the slightest thing outside to remind you of something that hurt you, and you don't protect yourself. I guess everybody would protect themselves if you sat there and, just let's say you had some bad experiences in life. Make posters of them and put them all over your house. So every place you went, it reminded you of the bad experiences you've had. You gonna have a nice experience? No. You'd be scared to death to come home. All right? Well, that's what you've done with your heart. You stored all these things that bothered you, that scared you, that hurt you inside. So now you're extremely sensitive and very much afraid of things. But if something happens to be just right, it matches what your brother looked like when you got along with your brother, and the song was playing that you first danced with the time you met this person. It takes the slightest little thing. You understand that? And all of a sudden the heart opens. You say, oh, I met somebody. You didn't meet anybody. I'm not very romantic, am I? Right? What happened was situations out there interacted with the stuff you stored inside, and sometimes they hit the stuff you stored that was nice. Most of the time they hit the stuff you stored that wasn't nice. And all of a sudden you're either opening or closing. So you have a choice. Go out there and try to make that. You can't even make it happen. Just kind of walk around in a daze trying to see if it'll happen. And that's why when it happens, you grab it. The trouble is, if you haven't caught on yet, right? Now I talked about fourth chakra. The fifth chakra is very, very gentle, right? Now you understand, the fourth chakra is the energy door to allow love to flow through. That's all it is. If it's open, you're fine. You're in ecstasy. You're filled with love. You're filled with joy, filled with excitement, filled with enthusiasm, filled with passion. It's kind of nice stuff when that heart opens, isn't it? Right? It's precious. The problem is, you have a whole nother center, your third center. I've explained, it's very, very important, your third chakra. It is what we call your social center. One's your love center, the other's your social center. What does that mean? I'm in here, and you all are out there. I need to interact with you. I don't know how to. I don't know how to present myself. I don't know how to be the way you'll like me. I don't know how to say the right thing. Do you understand that? I don't know what to wear. There's a lot of things involved in the social stuff, isn't it? And what it basically boils down to is, I'm in here, and you all are out there, and what's my relationship with you? Well, if you don't like me, that's not comfortable. If you like me, that's comfortable. We're not talking about love, right? We're just talking about being personally comfortable as opposed to being personally uptight. All right? We're far away from love at this point. The third chakra is at that level. It's all about, some people say, well, I don't know why I care so much what people think about me. Believe me, just go explore that one. That's very, very deep. That's third chakra. You do care what people think about you. Do you understand that? Somebody walked up to you and said, somebody came to me, you don't know them, but somebody came to me the other day and said that someone they knew who I don't know didn't think very highly of you. You get upset. Who? It's adorable. All right? It's like we are very, very sensitive in the third center, because I'm telling you, what that third center is doing is as follows. I exist. You in there? Hi. You're in there, eh? Okay. You're in there. Do you know who you are? Of course not. You're just in there. Yeah. I'm just in here. I'm in here. Okay? And then there's all these things out there. I need to develop a relationship so that I know who I am. I'm the person you like. I'm the person you don't. I can be the person you don't like. That's okay. Just don't. If I'm the person you don't like, don't come and be nice to me, because I'll get weird. It'll be very confusing to me. So I develop what psychologists call a self-concept. I develop this mental image of myself, and that's how I interact with everybody outside. Based on it, it's okay if somebody doesn't like me, as long as they know they don't like me, and they behave in the same way, etc. So I can handle that. But if somebody who's supposed to like me behaves in a way that is not what I expect, how you doing? You get kind of hurt, don't you? You get kind of all upset. You kind of get all weird. And if somebody who doesn't like you, you've never gotten along with, all of a sudden comes up and is very lovey-dovey and nice, yeah, get away from me. It's weird you out. Okay? You have developed a concept of yourself that allows you to interface with the outside world. Why do you need that? Because I don't know who I am. I came down here, I'm inside this body, I look out through these eyes. Besides, I knew who I am. I never thought about it. I only thought about being accepted. I only thought about, since I was the youngest thing, make up who I am and then try to put it out there and have everybody agree and feel comfortable with it and make sure that when I see them, they know they'll be the same way next time. You don't want to sit there and have people different every time. And so what you're doing is trying to define yourself through the mirror of everybody else. And that's why you try to prove yourself. That's why you try to do well at whatever you do. That's why you try to get the A's. That's why you try to do the different things. You try to excel so that you can prove yourself. You're trying to prove yourself. Why do you have to prove yourself? Because I don't know who I am. And I made up this person, and now I have to get everybody else to agree that that's who I am. I am the best, or I am this, and I'm dark. That's who I am. I'm nobody. I'm the bottom, right? Whatever it is, I don't care what personality you develop. It's not who you are. It's a concept of yourself that you made up and created in order to feel safe interfacing with the rest of the world. And there you are. That's all. Some people have to dress meticulously. Some people are ripped. There's no particular, doesn't matter if you're wearing schlump or you're wearing suits, all right? That's your self-image. That's how you're presenting yourself. Take somebody who wears suits all the time and make them wear schlump to work. They would die, right? Take somebody who wears schlump to work and have them wear a full three-piece suit. They would never go to work. Don't kid yourself. It's all exactly the same thing. And that is third chakra. So to tell me you don't know about the chakras, you know about love, don't you? You know when it opens and that go, okay, good. You know about this stuff, don't you? Way too much. And so what happens if you feel love, let's watch what happens. It happens to all of you. You feel love. I told you it's just magic. It's the magic that it hits your stuff just right, and you feel comfortable opening. For that moment, you open, right? And when you open, I'm telling you, love flows. It's not the person. Love flows because you opened your heart. Now, the minute you feel that openness, you like it? Oh, that's nice stuff. I like that. I like that. Because you like it, you want to keep the person. You want to keep that which made that happen. Why? Because you don't know how to make it happen. That person made it happen. And I guarantee you, if you had never met the person in your life, all of a sudden you bump into a grocery store and it just happens. Ask me, do I believe in love at first sight? I absolutely do. All it takes is a moment for your stuff to hit just right and your heart opens. There it goes. You didn't even know the person 10 seconds ago. That takes place. And I guarantee you, somebody else walks in of your same gender to talk to that person, you get jealous. You get scared. 10 seconds. That's all it takes. You start feeling that thing. Why? Because you have need to define yourself. You have now defined yourself. It happens very quickly when you feel love. You define yourself as somebody who loves this person, somebody who feels love around this person. Well, the moment you start defining yourself that way, you've now defined your relationship with everybody else concerning that person. Stay away. It's mine. That's third chakra. The problem is when you start operating from the third chakra, possessiveness, jealousy, insecurity, need, all this kind of stuff, which of course you do because you want the love. You don't understand. You ruin the love because you bring the energy back down to the third chakra instead of letting it flow through the fourth. Know anything about that? I bet you do. This is why we have so much trouble with relationships. So a wise person catches on and they deal with the energy itself. That's why I talk to you this way. It is not about finding a person. There's nothing wrong with having a relationship at all in any way, shape, or form. But it should be based upon the fact that I am in charge of my heart being open, not you. I do not need you for my heart to be open. It's your heart. If you learn to open your heart and it's open, you feel whole and secure within yourself, then you share that with people. It's a beautiful relationship. There's nothing wrong with it in any way, shape, or form. Don't misunderstand anything I'm saying. But to not be able to work with your heart, to not know what it's like to keep your heart open, and have to have something outside stimulate your own heart to open, that's where dependency comes from. You know what you're dependent on? I'm dependent on you making me feel good. Why? Because I don't know how to make myself feel good. I didn't feel good till you showed up. And so now I'm dependent upon you to keep my heart open. And it can't work. It can't work. The very fact that you're dependent means you came down to the third chakra, because it defines the relationship between us, and I will become manipulative. Remember that song, You Only Hurt the One You Love? Right? That's right. Because you are attempting to manipulate that person to be the way you need them to be so you can keep your heart open. The minute you start playing that game, you just kiss it goodbye. You just close your heart. The heart cannot stay open in the conditions that you're channeling your energy down to this possessiveness and jealousy and insecurity and need and all that kind of stuff. That's third chakra stuff. The heart is beautiful. The heart is just giving, open, free. That's very different than this. So I've only talked about two chakras, two centers. You know everything about them. You live with them. You interact with them every single day. They're supposed to be open. Your fourth chakra is supposed to be open all the time. If you go to give a talk at class or in a public speaking place, third chakra says this: oh my God, I don't want to do this. I don't feel comfortable. Remember last time I went to fifth grade, and I think it was last fifth grade. Of course, I'm in college now, and I did that. And the kids laughed. I don't want to go. I don't feel comfortable. I could call in sick. That's third chakra, right? You know what fourth chakra says? Oh boy, this is gonna be fun. This is great. I can't wait. I feel so inspired. I can't wait to get. Are we there yet? Is it time? All right. Oh my God, this is exciting. That's fourth chakra. Which one you want? They're both inside of you. It depends on what level you're interacting with. So eventually you have to decide, do you want to continue go out there and becoming dependent upon situations outside being a certain way, and you don't even know what the way is, by the way, so that it might get your heart open, so you might feel inspired, and you might feel comfortable, and you might have a few moments of high before you ruin it? Or do you want to learn to open your heart? Do you want to learn to get back to your natural state where you don't need anything? You're whole and complete within yourself. Why? Because you're not, how do I say it? I finally say it this way. The reason you need things is because you have closed. And what you need is something that will open you. I don't care if it's a vacation, a relationship, an intimate moment, a sunset that's beautiful. You need something. Why? What does need mean? I'm not okay. I'm not okay and I need something to be okay. Fair enough? So while you need something, you have to run out and try to find it. You live your whole life that way. Or you realize that the reason you need things is because you close your heart. The reason you're lonely, loneliness is not a natural state. I don't know what they tell you. It is not true. When your heart is open, there's no loneliness. There's this sense of absolute well-being all the time. If you're alone, you feel wonderful. You're with somebody, you feel wonderful. It doesn't make any difference. You're just filled with love and joy all the time. So need is because you are blocked. Need happens because you have closed your centers. So your choice is, do I continue to go out there and try to find something, hopefully, that will turn me on, that will open me up, and then try to keep it that way? But the very act of trying to keep it that way is manipulative, and it's going to close it, right? You end up with, well, we get along better than we used to. We went to a lot of counseling. That's not how it's supposed to be. It's okay. It's better than fighting. But I'm telling you, that is not high enough. If you're coming out here, we're going to talk about the way it's supposed to be, which is you wake up in the morning, you can't even get out of bed. You're so filled with love. You're just so filled with energy and enthusiasm and excitement that you don't even want to move. That's how beautiful it is. And it stays there all day, all day. That is your natural state. It has nothing to do with anybody else, has nothing to do with anything. You're what we call self-effulgent. That's my favorite word. That's a word, self-effulgent. Isn't that beautiful? How would you like to be self-effulgent? So the question becomes, do you want to continue being dependent, running around trying to fulfill the needs, or do you want to get rid of the reason that you're not whole, the reason that you have these needs? And so that becomes a spiritual path. The spiritual path is not finding your soulmate. You're your own soulmate. The spiritual path is removing the blockages that keep you from experiencing this. It's funny, as I said that, we were asked to design the chapel in the new Cardio Neuro Center, all right? It's called the Sanctuary of Wisdom, and it has very wise people from different traditions, pictures of them with beautiful sayings in it. And the one that just reminded me of is Rumi. Rumi is an ancient Persian poet from the 1500s. And by the way, the New York Times published a couple of years ago that he was the most popular poet in the United States today. And the saying that is under Rumi's picture is, it is not for you to seek love. It is but for you to seek and remove the obstacles you have put in her place. And that's exactly what I just said to you. If you want to, you can run around like a chicken with your head cut off, trying to find that magic moment that just hits you just right. Or you can realize the reason there's a magic moment is because you close the blinds and all of a sudden something opened for a moment. If you don't close the blinds, every moment's magic. Remove the obstacles you put in her place. Isn't that beautiful? Right? That's why Rumi was a great poet. Look at that. It's not for you to seek love. It's but for you to seek and remove, to find and remove the obstacles you have put in her place. So let's talk about that. So how would one go about doing that? It's actually not as complicated as it seems. You don't know how to open your heart. I learned that a long time ago. I can't tell you open your heart. That's ridiculous. You don't know how to. But you do know how to close it. You're an expert at closing your heart. You know what it feels like to close your heart, don't you? All right? So instead of trying to open it, practice not closing it. And that's a great breakthrough I had in my path and what I pass on to you guys. If you're the one who's closing it and you know you're closing it, well, because you close it, it's closed. Closing is not open. How about we practice not closing? And that becomes an entire spiritual path, the practice of not closing. You can practice it every day on a regular basis as often as you want. I know it's scary. That's what you're going to find out. It's scary to practice not closing. What does that tell you? You're closing to protect yourself. That's why it's scary to not close, all right? Because you feel exposed. But if you want to feel love, you better go there. You have to decide, am I willing to experience that fear, that insecurity, that uncomfortableness, lack of control, whatever it is, so that I can have love over time? Or do I want to keep closing myself so I have to run around and maybe one day in the 3 years somebody shows up or something happens and I feel all this love? You have to choose. And so you start practicing. And I'm telling you, I teach you to start with little tiny things. Don't start with big things. Don't start with big relationships or anything like that, your parents or anything like that. You start with the tiny little things. And it's going to embarrass you to find out you close over everything. If the driver in front of you isn't using his blinker, you close. If they're not driving the speed limit, you're in a rush, you close. If there's a cloud in the sky and you're supposed to go camping tomorrow, you close. It does not take anything for you to close. I hope these are not just words to you. I hope you've done enough work on yourself to watch. Just watch. I'm not asking you to do anything about it. Just notice. That's your first step. Witness consciousness. Notice. OMG. How often you close. Look in the mirror. What's that? Well, I don't know. It might be a slight discoloration on your skin, but you need a magnifying glass to see it. You're closed. All right? Well, my hair. What happened? It's just not the way I wanted it to be. You close. Drop something on your pants at lunch. You close. Driving is really neat because it's such an innocent you're driving, right? Watch how often you close. You see a police car. You're not doing anything. Watch your heart. Just watch. It closes. You can't feel love while you're doing that. That's equivalent. You see something out there, you're going to close those blinds. That's what it's doing. Now, notice how I'm defining closing. I'm defining it in a way that you do a lot of it, don't you? An awful lot of it. Your boss walks by you at work, says, if you had a minute, I want to talk to you. How you doing? Just watch your heart. Why don't you admit you don't know what he wants to talk to you about? Doesn't matter. He gets scared. Okay? So you start watching this, and you start realizing, while I am participating in that, the heart cannot open. It's closing. And so you choose, take your own level. Don't push it. You don't have to push it. Take a level, a layer, where you start to say, I don't want to close over this. I don't want to close. And so you start practicing not closing. What does that mean? I hope you can hear it. The ultimate way to practice not closing is to relax. Why? In order to close your heart, it requires energy. You have to put out resistance. If instead you relax, it will sit there in limbo. It won't necessarily open, but you didn't participate. How about I say this? The heart is in the habit of closing. I'm not even telling you to stop it from closing. I'm telling you not to participate in the process of closing. There is a difference. Something happens outside. The heart has this habit of getting uncomfortable, doesn't it? Everybody know what I'm talking about? What you normally do is get right in there and protect, defend yourself, say something rationalization in your mind. Oh, he wasn't talking to me, all right? I wasn't doing anything. There's a cop. I wasn't doing anything. Well, you're already pretty uptight. You said, I wasn't doing anything. You kind of reactive energy, wasn't it? All right? You watch that. And I'm telling you, if the heart has that tendency, I want you to notice it. But what I don't want you to do is participate in it. I don't want you to sit there and say, oh my God, I wasn't doing anything, was I? Look at this thing. Maybe I'll turn off. Maybe I didn't see anything. I don't want to be behind me. Woo, really? You're going to participate in this thing? Do you see the difference? One is you noticed it. Fine, you notice it and relax. Don't try to relax it. That's what people do wrong. They try to say, I need to relax my heart and make it open. No, you don't. That is not what I teach you. Leave it alone, but you don't participate in the process of closing. I'm telling you, if you will relax behind it, over time, everything will change. It needs your participation in order to continue. Here, you have a habit of smoking. You want to break it. Do not wait until you no longer have the urge to smoke in order to stop smoking. But then you say, well, but if I have the urge, I'm going to smoke. No. But I can't make the urge go away. Yes. So what do? If you feel the urge, don't participate in it. It's okay to feel the urge. In fact, you have no choice. Otherwise, you're going to suppress, and it will get worse. I'm drawing the analogy for you. If you feel the urge and you want to stop smoking, then notice the urge and relax, as opposed to notice the urge and do something about it. Anything you do about it. Maybe I'll just pick up a cigarette. I won't light it. Don't act on it. Don't let it make you participate in what it's doing. It is okay to feel the urge. You have no choice. Suppression does not work, and you have a habit of the urge. So I'm telling you, fine, you're going to feel the urge. The question is, what do you do about the fact you felt the urge? Not how do I stop it from happening, how do I stop the urge from happening? What do you in there do about the urge? And I'm telling you, it took me years and years and years to catch on here, the highest thing you can do is relax. Not make it relax. Don't you dare think that because I told you to relax, the urge will go away. That urge is none of your business. What's your business is your participation. So you relax. People say, I want to do something about it. Do something about it. Relax. That's what you did about it. Disengage and relax. I often say to you, relax and then notice where the urge is coming from and lean away from it. Are you willing to become a conscious being inside and actually work with yourself? You have to be able to sit in the presence of the urge to smoke if you're going to stop smoking. You got to deal with it that I need to decide that I want to not smoke more than I want to participate in the urge. And the highest way to do it, I'll give you the highest path. I don't care if it's drinking, smoking, or closing your heart. They're all the same thing. There is a tendency inside to go to a certain place, to close, to drink, to smoke. All right? At that moment, what are you going to do? Don't wait for the moment to go away. Don't give me that. And don't impress me. You don't understand making the urge. Yeah, you're right. I don't understand. You're in there. There it is. Relax. It's the highest thing I can teach you. Relax. Just relax. Breathe. Relax. What'll happen? Yukteswar told Yogananda, a great master, an ignored guest quickly leaves. That's what he was talking about. If I don't go with the urge to smoke, guess what will happen over time? The urge will stop. You should cry when I tell you that. It's not like you have the rest of your life you have to walk around and deal with that urge. If you don't participate in it, you're not feeding it the energy it needs to continue. And the next thing you know, you're not feeling the urge. And the next thing you know, you can't even imagine why you ever smoked. Seems like the dirtiest, filthiest habit. It doesn't smell, your clothes smell, you stand outside when you're eating. Like, wow. And all of a sudden, you're liberated, you're free. Same thing happens inside. Right now, it seems perfectly reasonable to participate in the closing of the heart. Well, if you don't want love, go ahead, all right? But if you want to have a life filled with love and inspiration and excitement and enthusiasm, then learn to not close your heart. How? I just told you. I know it seems too simple. It wasn't about alternate nostril breathing. It wasn't Bastrika. There weren't any asanas. You can do all those. We'll talk about that in a minute. But what it said was, are you in there? Do you want your heart open? Don't close it. But I'm going to qualify. Don't participate in the closing. That even lets you off the hook more. Don't participate in it. If you will relax behind it and lean away, relax and lean away, it will get gentler and gentler and gentler, and pretty soon you wouldn't even understand why you ever did that. And now all of a sudden, at that layer, that's a layer of difficulty that you transcended. That's what it's called. You transcended that layer. You transcended the fact that there was a dark cloud, somebody said hello or didn't say hello. You know, somebody you like didn't say hello, somebody you don't like said hello. Just that's a layer. It's a layer of difficulty that you used to not be able to handle, and now you can, right? Then another layer will show up, a little stronger. That's fine. Now that you learn to play ball this way, you will learn to relax at the next layer. And the next thing you know, you start to handle stuff that you never would have imagined you'd ever be able to handle. Unbelievable, right? And the next thing you know, you're feeling this strength. The heart doesn't just give you love, it gives you strength. Have you ever had your heart fall out from under you? You ever feel strong and this and that, and all of a sudden something doesn't happen, just the tiniest little thing, oh, all of a sudden, how'd you get there? You don't even want to be there anymore because your heart, a strong heart took you there. Now you have a weak heart. Yes or no, right? It's called your heart fell out from under you. That's exactly what happened. The energy was coming up. It was feeding your heart. You felt strength. So it's not just love. There's strength. There's inspiration. That literally your physical heart feels like it's lifted because the Shakti's coming up into that center. But then your third chakra closes because you get scared or somebody says something. Boom, it falls. And you're left there holding the bag. It's just like, you wish you could just melt into the ground and disappear. I'm sure you've had the experience. You're dealing with chakras. Just to describe it, when you say my heart fell out from under me, that's what happened. So you have to decide, do I want to do this? I can inspire you, but you have to decide. And then if you decide, start with the little things, just the tiniest little things that now you're willing to get all involved in and worry about and talk about. And, why didn't she call? I don't know. She said she called. Maybe she's not okay. Well, maybe she is okay. She doesn't like me anymore. I don't know. What are you doing? You obviously don't know why she didn't call. You wouldn't be doing that. Your mind should have the right. If you go to your mind, well, why didn't she call? It turns right back and says, I don't know. That should be the end of it. But you should know. I don't know. But maybe you're just making that up. Your mind should fight with you. Don't make me neurotic. I don't know. There, that's the end of it. I don't know why she didn't call. Well, start dealing with stuff that way. relax and release. Do it with smaller things, then bigger things, then bigger things, and eventually the habit to close will fall away. And the next thing you know, this strength that you're feeling will get stronger and stronger, and then all of a sudden you hear a bird chirp, and you'll feel love like the only time you felt that was the first kiss of your beloved, because a bird chirped, or a kid laughed, or because a breeze blew by you. Oh, it's getting fun. And it doesn't take anything for your heart to do this. So the net result is you learn to not close. It's a very deep thing I taught you. Everybody's out there trying to feel this openness, right? Just learn to not close. Play with it. Practice it. Make it. I want you to see you grew up in a generation where you do video games, right? It's a video game. It's an internal video game. Right? The video games, you go from layer 1 to layer 2. Well, from chakra 1 to chakra 2. All right? They're just layers inside yourself. And you can work with yourself. And if you don't get it right, you fall back down. Fine, get back up. Work with it. If you will work with yourself on a regular basis, I am telling you, I don't care how meek you think you are, I don't care how weak you think you are, I don't care how sensitive you think you are, every day you can change it. Just little by little, every day, take little things that you have a tendency to get uptight and close about that are silly, to be so sensitive, and then work with yourself. Now, if you can't relax and release, there's something that happened and it's too strong for that, then you use the other techniques I've taught you. I've mentioned them to you. Use affirmation. If something really got you and you're starting to get scared, just sit there and say, I'm sitting on a planet spinning in the middle of nowheres. I am sitting on a planet spinning in the middle of nowheres. And visualize the planet. I'm telling you, you can raise yourself. You can use your mind to help you instead of hurt you. Right now it says terrible things to you. You blew it. Oh my God, no one will ever like you again. Oh my God, why? Because I sneezed. Doesn't it do that? You have the right to change what it says. You work with that. I taught you mantra. Do mantra. Mantra's a wonderful thing. Really, the more I grow and teach, the more I feel the strength of teaching that. Why? Because you just teach your mind to say something over and over again. And then when you get in trouble, go back to that. When it starts telling you stupid things, go to the mantra. And all of a sudden you have going on inside of you, Hari Om, Om Namah Shivaya, Guru Om. And that's going on in there. You don't have to hang out with the negative part of the mind. You get to hang out with this nice part that you built inside. It's like going on a vacation anytime you want. That's what the mantra is. It really is a place you get to go that's nicer than where you just were. You know what a vacation is? You can do this. How do you learn a mantra? It's not about Sanskrit. I told you, if you're not into God or any of this stuff, just sit there and say, I can handle this. I can handle this. I can handle. That'd be a nice mantra, wouldn't it? Why? The rest of your mind says you can't handle anything. So just get it saying, I can handle this. How do I teach it? The way you teach anything. When you're driving your car, I can handle this. When you're walking, I can handle it. Train it to say this. And the next thing you know, something's going to happen. And I'm telling you to relax and release. That's the highest. But if you see you can't, you see that it's too much noise, you're too uptight about it, then go to the mantra. I can handle this. I can handle this. I can handle this. I can handle this. It's just beautiful. It's beautiful. There's so many things. I'm just giving you suggestions, things you can do to raise yourself. Don't leave it up to somebody else. Don't sit there and wait until you find the right job. Don't really kid yourself. Right? Don't kid yourself. If you know how to close, you're going to close even at the right job. Something is going to happen that will not be exactly what you wanted it to be. Right now you visualize, my career, and if I can find this job. There is no such thing. Why? Because you're going to close. Because that's what you do. You find something wrong with everything. It does. It does. It finds something wrong with people. It finds something wrong with restaurants. It finds something wrong with travel. It finds something wrong with vacations. It finds something wrong with a job. It finds something wrong with a new boss. It finds something wrong with yourself. With everything. You can't be okay while that's going on. So you sit there and work with yourself to raise yourself. I'm just giving you clues how to do this. People say meditation is important. Meditation is wonderful, right? But it's not the beginning or end. Why is meditation wonderful? Because you practice working with yourself. When you sit down to meditate, you're not supposed to just let all that stuff go on inside. You can sit there and watch it. You practice witness consciousness. You can do mantra. I don't care. The point is you put the time aside to work with yourself. Good. As little as 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes in the evening, that's fine. You may want to do more, but that's fine. That you actually take the time to work with yourself. Then work with yourself all day. And little by little, you're going to change. If you learn not to close, your life's going to become beautiful. You feel all this energy, all this love, all this beauty. So you understand now the third chakra. The third chakra is absolutely founded upon, I don't know who I am, so I defined a me. kind of cute. I made one up, all right? Made one up in my mind. Here I am. I'm the one that did this and didn't do that, and I'm this and I'm that, and I'm not this and I'm not that. Like there I am. That's me, all right? And then you try to sell it. And if they buy it, they're your friend. If they don't, you're your enemy. You feel comfortable around some people and not comfortable about others. It all depends on how they match your stuff. You're feeding the energy. So the highest thing to do is what I taught you, is watch, notice how sensitive the heart is and how quick that third chakra is to control and manipulate and judge and do all that stuff. And if it does that, the heart can't open. So you just start practicing. Your practices are every moment of every day. Just if it touched your heart or you felt yourself close, notice what I'm focusing on. Not closing. That's all I want you to walk away with here. Not closing. Are you willing to make a game out of not closing? Because I'm telling you, it will take you the whole way. The whole way. All that happens is what you're not closing over gets bigger and bigger. Then all of a sudden the fact that your parents got divorced, somebody said the word divorce, you always got weird. Now you're ready. Ready for what? Not closing. But they said divorce. I know. But I've always gotten weird when they said divorce. I know. How about we relax? Oh! Like I said, it's not about it not coming up. It's about you not participating in it. Are you willing to do that with all the stuff you got in there? Let it come up by itself naturally and let go. Because it's going to cleanse if you do that. What you're doing is giving it the room it needs to release. And when it releases, it's not in there anymore. If it's not in there anymore, there's no reason to close. Right now you're closing because of all the junk you stored inside. You're protecting. How much are you protecting? Your ex-husband, every single thing that ever bothered you, you don't want to get in touch anymore. That's why it's so sensitive. So this is the work that somebody gets to do with themselves. To constantly open, not close, open, not close, and then be challenged that you will reach points where it's difficult to do. Then you've developed a backstop for yourself. You develop positive thinking. You develop mantra. You develop ways, but it's said and done. I can remember in the 70s when I got to that point. I said, closing's nowheres. There's no meaning to it. It doesn't do me any good. I'm not going to close anymore. Right? And then you get challenged. You get good and challenged, right? And then you can deal with that, and then you get challenged a little bit more, and then you get really challenged, right? I've had my situation. I've had people, I love it when they come and tell me. It's like, but I don't understand. I was letting go, and all that, and then it got white hot, not even red hot. It got white hot in my heart. Oh my God, it was on fire. I don't even know over what. It was just on fire. And I try and let go, and I'm trying to let go, and I don't think I can. I've been through those stages. I remember back to 20, 30 years ago. You have to sit there and say, I want to know what it would be like to be free. I would like to know what it would be like to just enjoy my life and not worry so much about what everybody thinks or cares or anything like that, and be able to express myself and say what I want to say and, be open and feel love and joy and enthusiasm. Well, I got to burn this stuff through. And so you relax. And my experience is if you will relax and release, it will take you the whole way. There's nothing else you have to do. If you not close, it will fall off. So that's the essence of working with your centers. All right? Now, what I always like to do at this point in the talk is say, we kind of talk nice about the difference between the third and the fourth chakra, right? There are 7 of the things. The main chakras, there are 7. We've only talked about the fourth. Can you imagine how much higher is love than your third chakra, than your stupid ego? It's a whole other ballgame, isn't it? Well, so with the 5th, and so with the 6th, and so with the 7th. Except they're logarithmic. You get pretty high. I like that. All right. I want you to work on these things. I'll keep it simple, short, and sweet tonight. Practice not closing. Raise yourself. Work with yourself. And next thing you know, you'll be happy all the time, be filled with love all the time, filled with joy all the time, no matter what's happening. Now come out and help everybody. Come out and raise the world. All right. Very good. Chakra.